Hey friends, welcome back in at 6:11, and each weekend, ABC 10's Walt Gray catches up with a journalist about the biggest political stories of the week. Here's Walt with more.
Welcome to our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray, joined this week by Rich Eisen, editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly. Rich, always good to have you here. So the governor has ordered state workers back to work at least 2 days a week, starting officially in mid-June. Some people have already been going back in since the first of the year. How do you think that's going? We're seeing a lot of pushback from people who like working remotely.
Well, I mean, I think that's natural. And of course, a lot of the workers that got used to, let's be honest, not having to deal with the commute and maybe having less child care costs, the practical things, but also, not necessarily having to dress up every day, that kind of a thing. But, there is a pretty practical reason for the state to be doing it. What they're really doing is synchronizing all of the agencies across one rule, because previous to this, they were all allowed to establish their own policies. And there was, some disparities. So I think that's really what the state's doing more than anything. But yeah, if you're one of the people affected by it, you absolutely got used to not doing the commute in particular, you're probably not real thrilled with this, even if it's only 2 days a week.
Yeah, there are some people that miss being in an office and intermingling with folks. And
absolutely, I know several who have gone back to the office voluntarily because they actually like it better.
That's right. Okay. So Governor Newsom is running an ad in Alabama. It started earlier this week as well, talking about the perils of abortion in that state. Is the governor, again, what is his role in all this other than being a national leader, says he?
Well, he has a very well-funded PAC just for this reason, Political Action Committee. And I think you would have to be naive to think that he does not have larger aspirations once he leaves the California governorship. This is an issue that Democrats are counting on to drive out the vote in November, and he absolutely wants to be at the front of it. Any other personal motivation? I don't know, because he doesn't talk to us very often.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's obvious to me. I think to anyone who's paying attention, this is part and parcel to what the governor's long-term plans are.
Well, the governor is always available to the national media.
He absolutely is.
And let's say maybe The View shows that it'll be very friendly to him. But you brought up an interesting point, which we'll cover another time, about the governor not available to us locals. Deep fakes, obviously altered images. California has, 2 new laws regulating the distribution of this. With the election coming up, we got to know what's real and what isn't.
Well, and there's a handful of other laws that have been introduced this year. Now, we'll see what happens with them, but I think there's a lot of concern, and not just here in California, but there's a lot of concern everywhere about the possibility of, we saw in the primaries where there were fake Joe Biden robocalls urging people not to vote. We've seen those in the past where, showing Nancy Pelosi allegedly drunk and all these things that were not real at all. I think it's a huge concern, and they're coming at it from a lot of different angles.
Well, we'll see how that's looked at and regulated, and it's kind of the great new territory here to try to figure out what is or what isn't. Okay, Rich, thank you as always. Do appreciate it. You can reach out to Rich via email if you'd like. Rich.eisen@capitalweekly.net.